Welcome, everybody. My name is Josiah Gator. I am one of the program managers here at FreedomWorks. And anybody who is familiar with FreedomWorks knows that at our core, we believe that individuals create opportunity, ingenuity, and a lot of what we do is try to inspire and equip people to do just that and make sure that the government is out of the way of that process. And we're joined today by Lily Tong Williams, who's here with us and has a fantastic story about coming from communist China under Mao to America and living that American dream. Lily, how are you?
I'm feeling great. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it's so good to have you here today. And the first question I wanted to jump right into it is, what made you want to come? When did you realize I wanted to come to America, and why?
Well, when I was in law school, third year as a college student, and only about 20 years old, and I met an American student who and showed me a pocket constitution and read to me the Declaration of Independence. Up to that point, I never heard about concept of individual rights. And also, all men are created equal. I have this natural rights, not from my government. He put America in my brain to say, this is an awesome country. If I someday have to leave China, and this country I wanted to come. And so later, that's why I was like, oh, here's this cool country. Since I don't want to be enslaved, continue to be, oppressed in China, I need to come here to seek freedom and prosperity.
That's incredible. You just understanding the principles from those founding documents. That's really incredible. Now, can you talk to us about during that time when you were growing up under Mao, all the way through college years, what was economic opportunity like in China? Was there economic opportunity for ingenuity and for business? What did that look like, especially on the individual level?
None, because under communism, everybody worked for days, 6 days a week. And there was no concept of private property and private property ownership. So you just basically everybody get a government job and work for the government. There's no incentive to work hard to perform, and if you work for the party, you have to be politically correct in order to get promoted. So my parents were in literally working class. They worked really hard. We could not even keep our stomach fit. We were starving. And we lived on food rationing coupons. We had one brand of government products for everything. And there's always long line. And we shared a community housing with 8 families, 1 bathroom, one water faucet. So it's horrible, right? It's extremely primitive. And we were told, even though we were very hungry, but we're told other people were suffering even more. So we should be grateful. That's what we were brainwashed to believe. So economical freedom, start your own business, did not exist until the economic reform by Deng Xiaoping after Mao's death.
Now, at the time, what were you told? Were amongst those other people who were suffering even more, were they convincing and indoctrinating and brainwashing you all that that was true in America as well? Oh, those Americans, they're suffering, or it's terrible in America. Or what was the brainwashing and indoctrination about what it was like to live here?
Well, Americans were demonized to be imperialist country, and we were told to hate capitalism, bloodsuckers, exploit workers, and we were told the Taiwanese people were suffering. We're starving, and we need to liberate them. Why did they go liberate them? Yeah, they're still talking about liberate Taiwan or unify with Taiwan by force. But Taiwanese people actually show the Chinese people on mainland China, they're capable of capitalism, free market, strong economy, and democracy. They vote. They have 2 or 3, like a parliament system instead of a dictatorship, but because one party controls all propaganda machines and press and media, lots of Chinese don't know that. And they do support the nationalist, CCP talk, let's go liberate Taiwan. it's part of China. Still believe that. It just that's what happens when you don't have a free press. Even journalists, reporters, all work for government. Think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we like to say a lot, and I'm so glad that you brought up the food lines, the community housing. Senator Bernie Sanders maybe infamously said, bread lines are good because there's bread at the end. And we all went, what? And what's crazy about that is we believe and we try to train people to understand that the government isn't a good steward of your money. If you take it to its extreme, like under Mao, when the government controls essentially all of your money, that's what you get, is one bathroom for 8 families, long lines, as opposed to letting individuals create prosperity. The government doesn't create prosperity really at all.
Right, they consume and they control you. And people don't understand the socialist communists always promise utopian. Oh, you're gonna have plenty of food, and you all will take whatever you need to take and consume, and the peasants will have land to decide what they want to grow. None of those came after become a absolutely powerful dictator in China. Instead, under his regime, about 40 million people starving to death during the Great Leap Forward campaign he started. And I just remember we could not have enough food. Our protein supply coupon, which is called eggs and all the meat, right? It's 2.8 pounds for family of 5 for 1 month. 1 month! If I lose that coupon when I stand in long line to go get the meat, I lose that coupon. My family one time, I did lose the coupon because I was jumping down, keep myself warm in the dark winter morning in long line. I lost the coupon. My family did not have protein, eggs and meat for 1 month. And I had to learn from my uncle when I was a child to trap this rat in the community housing to suck on the rat bones because we're hungry,
Yeah.
And those kind of utopia never came. People don't realize that we're also supposed to have so-called health care for all, right? Like the people wanted. But the Chinese government also control health care. And it was very poor quality. And the long lines, and it's ration care. Even today, people have to stay in long line. And you have to through corruption process to say, can I get that bed for my family? Because there's not enough bed. So whoever give money to the doctors who are going to perform surgeries, get the bed. But the regular common people who are so poor, like my families, right? What are they going to do? You suffer. So people don't realize what you're asking for here.
Yeah. Now, let's talk about the comparison between the two. When you first came here, it was Austin, Texas, right? Is that right?
Yes, that's
Yeah.
where I landed 2
Excellent.
months before my 24th birthday.
Excellent, fantastic. And what was your dream? And my real question is, what was your American dream when you first landed? What did you think was going to happen? What were your hopes, your aspirations? And now today, how do you look at the American dream? Kind of what about your understanding has changed or maybe evolved over time?
Right. When I first came, I borrowed $100 from my friends. That's all I got. I owe $1,200 to my American sponsor. I told my friends, I'm gonna get rich in America. Can I just borrow $20 from you, $20 from him, blah, blah, blah. I thought that this is land opportunity. So I would for sure get rich. And if I work hard and smart and save money, become wise investor. And I did. I did not know what to expect. When I first showed up, I was totally culture shocked. My biggest impressive experience going to your grocery store is beautiful, clean, and spacious. And 10 brands offer everything on the shelf. And I was learning how to even buy shampoo. It's like there are 10 brands. Which brand should I buy? Different prices, different qualities. So,
they're not all the party brand.
It's like one brand that just force on you. You don't have choices. And, I learned all that choices as customers, consumer. I loved it. I have choices to pick brand versus quality, the pricing, and I enjoy that choices. So years later, now I'm an entrepreneur. I work for myself and home. I started like 3 home business with my husband's support. That's how I achieved the American dream. and consider I come here with $100, right?
Yeah.
And now I have 3 home business and have financial freedom to travel around to share my American dream story. I'm just afraid that American dream story, is under attack because now people will say, "Oh, I'm poor. I'm a people of color, so I should be victim. I should be oppressed. And I'm not going to achieve my American dream." That's not true. All the immigrants like me, lots of them are living American dream. They don't buy into that narrative,
Absolutely. And that's true across the board for many people. And maybe it's a cognitive dissonance that it's hard. Nobody said the American dream was easy. And you just outlined starting with $100. I'm sure none of it was easy.
Right. And I got laid off by corporation. That's how I pushed myself to start my business. But the first 8 years, I was not profitable.
Yeah.
And we had to rely on my husband's one person salary to support a mortgage and 3 kids. But you just have to keep working at it and don't let the people to tell you you cannot make it. You keep trying, you keep learning from your mistakes in the past, then you will be successful someday.
Yeah, and that's a great way to talk about it. And what's interesting about your story is you never mentioned the government getting in the way was helpful. It's the fact that the government had a limited hand in it and that you had more opportunity, unlike in China where they controlled everything. Here, there's much more freedom, which is why maybe the cautionary tale is that the bigger government is, the more it takes, the less opportunities you have. And I like to say that equity, which is a quality of outcome, versus equality, which is a quality of opportunity. Equity is just a quality of oppression. Everybody's oppressed the same.
Yeah,
95%.
Yeah, 95% people will be equally poor, enslaved, and miserable. What good does that do, right? In a free market, capitalist society, everybody has equal opportunities and protection under the law. So you can go work hard, start your business, achieve your American dream, save and invest the money, right? But the people, when they rely on government to give them some free stuff and then take the taxpayers' money who are productive and give to people who are not incentivized to work hard for themselves, then it bring down the economy. There's no economical growth. Look at China, right? Today, China, so-called the second largest economy, because they let go some central planning after Mao's death. Yep. They enabled private individuals to start their own business, leave their guaranteed state jobs to start restaurants, selling huntun in the street, or do some other private company business, and they become rich. And that's why Chinese people, they lift themselves out of poverty. Since the economic reform in the past 40 years, maybe 600 million Chinese come out of poverty. And we should continue going that trend. But unfortunately, even today, the Chinese government now, the party, wants to take that backwards, to go back to the more centralized planned economy and to call the more socialism, shared prosperity. I'm just afraid that the Chinese people are going to actually, be more poor because of that policy. And we need to learn that. We don't want to go that way.
So that's an interesting point. And what I think is important to note is that for the causes that people care about, maybe it's greener energy, maybe it's greater information and rising the third world countries, a lot of the innovation, in fact, almost all of it, comes from capitalist environments. The invention of phones that have internet access, which unequivocally rise all of humanity, because when you have knowledge, you have a certain level of power. A lot of greener energy, like hydraulic fracturing, is big here in the United States, and that's a greener energy that was affordable until the Biden administration and several others decided to knock it out. And now we have to import oil again all of a sudden from countries that might not be so friendly to us. Those innovations come from capitalist societies.
Correct, because in China, people were not incentivized to have these innovations. And that's why Chinese always push foreign companies when they go to China, hey, give me your technology, give me your intellectual property. And And even intellectual property protection concept is very new in China. It started in the 90s. When I was in law school, we did not even have like a economical like a trademark law and intellectual protection law. No, it's new. That's why you had so many counterfeit products, right?
Oh my
Because
gosh.
that's why we were told to demonize capitalism. But then they also realized, oh, actually there are more effective to create prosperity and jobs. People are incentivized to innovate and to get a patent, to invent new products, or music and arts. It's just free market always is relatively to socialism economy's best way to lead to more prosperity, more job creation. But the more central planning, more government control is going to give people less incentives. And bureaucrats and government, they always consume, they don't create. It's
Yes.
private companies and private individuals like us to create wealth and create jobs and pay taxes.
And, and to pay taxes.
I know. So I mean, it's a sadness to me to see our college kids today are not taught well about free market, free entrepreneurship, and they were demonized capitalism and profits, but sitting in their cushy, nice chairs to demonize
And their iPhones.
iPhones. So those are all products of a free market economy system. It's like but if you ask them, hey, if you make A, that person makes D. Can I do like a equalize grades? Doesn't matter how hard you work and how little he worked. That's everybody gets A. Everybody gets D. How do you feel about that? So once they know, oh, I don't like that. I deserve better because I work harder. And then until they get job, they see their paycheck, how much government takes away.
Oh.
Then they start to learn.
Oh,
No, I think I don't like that.
I have a great friend. She is from Brazil, and she said, I grew up quite liberal, went to college, became even more liberal. Then I got my first job and immediately became a libertarian. started paying taxes, and then you haven't even gotten to property taxes yet, and then you're like, oh, I'm a libertarian now.
Well, did you see this video? Was so funny on YouTube, and somebody posted this kid was playing Monopoly with his family, and then he started crying really hard, like an 8-year-old little boy, and because he had lots of money and wealth, and then all of a sudden he lost, right? He was crying, and the mom said, "What happened to your money?" Taxes.
I'm gonna go look that up. I haven't seen that.
I thought that was so good video. That kid is going to be, entrepreneur who's going to keep most of what he earns.
Now he understands. Yeah, I want to keep my money too. Well, Lily, it's been so great having you on. And for those who want to get to know more about your story and start to understand what's happening in America, especially our education system that maybe is setting us up, and those students, some of them, they legitimately don't know better. If they want to hear your story and a little bit more about that, where can they find your work?
Yeah, I have a public Facebook page called Lily for Liberty, LILY 4 Liberty, Lily for Liberty, and same as Twitter, Lily for Liberty. But if you want to watch my videos and share my YouTube videos, and I have a YouTube channel called Lily Tang Williams, as same as also my name on Instagram. So please go share my stories, and you can write to me and message me if you have questions. I'm all for to share my stories, educate our young, because I was so brainwashed in the past, and so I see them as like my younger myself. In the government school system, and so that's why I'm here. Hopefully more people will share my stories and posts. And thank you so much for having me.
Yes, thank you, Lily. Well, thank you all for joining us. And again, if you want to check out more content like this, content that puts the power back in the hands of individuals, not governments, make sure to check out FreedomWorks on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. And we'll see you all next time.